How is your income broken down? Like, if we looked at a pie chart in terms of what percentage is what?
Every year it's been completely different. Like when I first started making money, the first time I was making real money, it was from coaching by far, probably getting around like $750,000 in a year from just coaching. And then I was like, okay, how do I like scale this up? And I just kept putting my prices up, but then there's only so many people you can coach. Then I put out the cookbook, and then all of a sudden, okay, that was selling so much that I would say 80% of my money was coming from cookbooks. And I said, well, I don't need to really coach people anymore because I'm making so much money from a cookbook. Then maybe 1 or 2 years, the sales were really ridiculous. And then they kind of go down every year.
Mm.
I still sell enough cookbooks. Like if anyone sold as many cookbooks as I had now, they would be super happy. Like I'm making hundreds of thousands a year on just a cookbook, but like I was making millions before. So it was way higher. But the cookbook transitioned to now supplements. So I sell mostly supplements. So I would say my supplements are probably like maybe 80% of my income now. YouTube is a good income because I make a lot of videos.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit of coaching, a lot of supplements, and then YouTube videos is probably my main source now. But I also have other platforms where I do like Bilibili. It's like a Chinese YouTube and whatnot, like kind of thing.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most amount of money you've made in a single day?
Well, I made $104,000 in a day selling cookbooks on one video, but I've made maybe $240,000 in a day, like the release of a cookbook. Like you know what I mean? Cookbook 2. I think Cookbook 2 in one day made $240,000. But it's like that's a drop. That's not like just out of the blue. Like when I sold 1,000 books or 1,004 books in 24 hours, like I made a video on YouTube and people were watching it, and this is the first time I made big money like this. Like I'd made like maybe, like 10,000 a day type of thing. That's like kind of was like normal, but I was like I was literally looking at the Shopify and I was refreshing and I was like, there's no way there's an extra zero there. Like I didn't believe it. And that was the most surreal, memorable day of my life, I would say. Like I literally left to go to the gym and I was driving the car and it was like I was on like 20 grams of Molly or something. It was just like this high feeling over my whole body. Like I felt like something was coming out of my skin. Like I can't express how much I was like, I've made it. Like my problems with, I had enough money just from that one day. And like this continued for a long time, making ridiculous sales from the cookbook. I couldn't believe it. And so it was this like feeling of like, I've made it, and this surreal feel like it was more money than I ever thought I could ever make. So it was just monumental to me, and it just lasted for so long. And then I was chasing that high again. And so I released a cookbook 2, and like I had more money in that first day, but then the sales didn't continue. It wasn't like crazy high. And then I was like, I released the 3rd cookbook and the sales were a bit less. And it's like, I'm never going to get the same high ever in my life from that. If I made $1 billion today, I don't think I would be more excited than when I made that 100,000, because after you make a certain amount of money, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't change your lifestyle.
No, like if you gave me $100 million, Mr. Beast is like, hey, Greg, 100 million here. I'd be like, wow, that's cool. But like, it doesn't change anything.
So where's the point of diminishing returns in terms of money?
I would say the max is at about $1 million a year. Like, and research kind of was saying that. I looked at some studies and it was like around 100,000. It was like, you don't get happier. And it's like, no, you get happier till probably $1 million. But I don't think it's the money per se even. I think it's the fact that you know that you've accomplished so much, and it's the thrill of being better, accomplished. Like you go to university, you study, you work. And when you make 100, 200, 300, 400, it's like there's this increased happiness. But at $1 million to 2 to 5 to 10, I don't think there's a big difference. I don't think there's any difference. And I think that actually can be a deterrent. I think that if you go and make $1 million a year, you're really like, who doesn't want to make $1 million a year? That's great. And you make 5, you make 10. Then you go back to 1. 1 sucks. If I only made $1 million a year now, I'd be like, what am I doing wrong? I would feel horrible. Not because I need the money, but I'd be like, what have I done wrong where now I'm just not excelling at what I do? I just want to be good at it. I would compare it to, you win the Mr. Olympia. Chris Bump said he won this Mr. Olympia 6 years in a row. He comes back and he gets 8th. 8th's amazing. If I went to the Mr. Olympia and got 8th, I would just be like, what did I just do? But Chris would be, how did I fuck up so bad? So that's the problem with these young influencers. I talk to a lot of these guys who are making $1 million a year or more, and they're buying shit and spending on Lamborghinis and all this stuff. And I'm like, you don't need that. You can't just keep buying a more expensive car. Like, I got a McLaren 720S. I'm like, should I get a Bugatti now? will that make me more happy? And I was thinking about, yeah, you know, get a Bugatti, it's a couple $1 million, whatever. That'll look cool. And I'm like, am I doing it for me? I don't even want a Bugatti. I'm like, am I just trying to brag that I have a lot of money? Like, how does it make you happy? I don't think it does. And so for me, like the money is just, it's fun to make, but it's almost a measure of like your success rather than actually needing that money. And I think that we are just obsessed with having to make all this money. And then for what? To show off to who? To show off to my girlfriend? Like, I'm going to get a Bugatti. Look at what my boyfriend's driving. Like, why do I need to do that? I don't think that matters. And so at this point, like I basically stop watching TV and I read books, and I'm just trying to be more knowledgeable and experience the world through different lenses and just try to like learn and to grow.
So would you rather be rich but out of shape, or in really good shape but not rich?
I have to be in shape. I would pay every cent I own to be in shape. Like if I could get rid of all of it, if I could take a zero off my income, I would take that in a second over gaining 25 pounds of fat. There's no way I just want to be this fat, soft. Like my dopamine comes from personal improvement. I wouldn't get, do you know, of all the vehicles I have, the most important one is my stationary bike. By far, I would trade all my fancy vehicles and drive a Toyota Corolla from 19 whatever over not having my bike, because that's the thing I love the most and I spend the most time in it. By far, the freaking McLaren, I don't need that. I only drive in the summer anyway. Like, who cares? But my bicycle, I need my bike.
Now, one of the biggest traps with healthy snacks is just how misleading they are. A lot of protein bars I've noticed still spike your blood sugar, contain hidden sugars, or contain ingredients you can't even pronounce. And then you're hungry again an hour later. That's why we love the sponsor of this clip, War on Sugar. They make a bar that actually keeps your blood sugar stable, tastes great, and contains ingredients that you recognize.
War on Sugar bars are amazing. They're designed specifically to avoid insulin spikes, and their sweetness comes from monk fruit, which is exactly how they stay sweet without getting that blood sugar response. Plus, they use healthy fats and natural fiber to slow digestion and keep energy steady. And the result is amazing. It's no spike, no crash, and no craving afterwards, just clean, sustained energy that actually lasts.
And the ingredients list is refreshingly simple. No sugar alcohols, no preservatives, no natural flavors. Everything comes from real nuts, real fruits, and real cocoa.
So whether you're watching your blood sugar, eating low carb or keto, traveling or training, or you just need a grab-and-go bar that actually fills you up, War on Sugar is that bar.
They've got great flavors like lemon blueberry, peanut butter pistachio, and chocolate peanut butter crunch.
Seriously, guys, I highly recommend it. Just go to waronsugar.com and use code ICED10 for 10% off your first box. Once again, that is waronsugar.com. ICED10 is the code for 10% off your first box. I have a problem. When I eat, I spike and I crash and I cannot focus. I do not suffer that with War on Sugar bars, so I highly recommend it. Thank you so much to War on Sugar for sponsoring this clip.